What's up? My name is DJ Mystery from Frankfurt, Germany. Welcome to edition number 5 of my reaction videos to the Unassisted Challenge, of course, brought to you by Mr. Brawlic Arm Rob Swift. In this case, we are looking at my own contribution to the contest. As always, I'm going to show you my setup, or we're going to look at my setup, and then we're going to go through the routine, go through the comments that the judges made. First of all, here's my setup. Native Instruments, Traktor Z2 or Traktor Kontrol Z2 mixer. I'm not really happy with it anymore because it has the cue points right next to the crossfader, and I found out, or I noticed that they get in the way. So it's really a better option if the cue points are above the line faders, just as you have it with most of the Pioneer or the Rain mixers. It's a great mixer, no question. I mean, it's built like a tank. Faders are good, but faders could be better. These are Inno faders. 2 days ago, I was at the Ray Academy by DJ Ray D, who is a 2-time German DMC champion, and he has the Pioneer S9 mixer. Awesome. I mean, especially on the crossfader, you have so many options to control it, like cut in on the left, cut in on the right, tension, everything. So much better. And I really wonder why Native Instruments don't, like, the demand for that for a new mixer like a Z2 Mark II it's there. I know it because there's so many DJs using Traktor. Anyways, the turntables that you see are Stanton Straight 150. I totally like them. They're really awesome. I like the straight tone arm. They're super heavy, and I bought them for 240 euros, both of them at the same. Like, I bought them from one guy who, for some reason, didn't know what they were worth, and I had to take the car for on a 2 hours drive to get them from Cologne to Frankfurt, but it was totally worth it. All right. So, and as you can see, like here, you see these little stickers. Like there's one here, and one here. So that's my 1 and 2, right? And just the same here, there's the 1 on the top, and I removed the and the 2. So here it's 1 and 2, and here's only 1. So that I can really align my cue points, or the stickers on the record, the markers on the record. I can align them to the 1 or to the markers on the turntable. And here is another sticker on the very low end of the record. It's the big one, and one tiny little sticker is up here. So this is my first cue point, or the first cue point that I align with my 12 o'clock marking. And back here, when you pay attention to it, you will see it. The bigger one is the one that I use after the intro. I'm using regular needles like Shure M44/7s. I have phase, but I didn't use it in this case. Right, so let's see what I came up with. Here we go. Tone play with a pitch fader. So many people, I've seen that doing something similar. Oh, sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. Ooh. So here I used the last tone as my 1 for the breakdown pattern. That's what I call the push pattern. Offset backspin. Rock the bells pattern with little fills. The last one has been sloppy. Now I'm turning down the pitch -10 to get into rolling fills. That was my idea. That's what I wanted to do. For the intro, or for the outro, a couple of samples.
The only car on the road flossing 9 gears. Never the same, and nobody else can do it better. Breaking these fools down to the last letter. So you better get your ass a sweater. Whatever that you clowns wanna do. Make sure that you got the super dope crew.
my idea was to do some tone play in the beginning, then do a couple of just patterns, nothing special really. And then at the end, I wanted to do the rolling fills, because when I talked to Rob Swift for the first time 2 years ago, I wanted to do rolling fills. I wanted it so badly. And it's difficult. Timing has to be really on point. I didn't, in this case, right here in the routine, I didn't hit it on point. But it's crazy. You really have to practice that a lot. Let's get into what the judges had to say about my routine. Here we go. I got a total of 33 points, which I'm very happy with. I wanted to come up with at least, 27 is half the amount of points that you could get, and of course I wanted to have more than half the points. Rob gave me 3.5 on the technicality, 4 on the presentation, 4 on originality, and let us go back up. So this is the camera that I use. It's the Zoom QN2, and as you can see right now, it's in USB microphone modus. It has a wide angle lens. It has XY microphones on top. It films in HD quality, and that's really my main camera that I go for when I record my sets, because it has line inputs. So not only does it have a great microphone, but it also has line inputs, so I can take a RCA to mini jack cable and get right into the camera, so that I don't have to cut the video in the end that much. I don't have to edit it a lot. So as you can see here, like, you can see everything. You can see all of me, like the camera angle ends at the top of my head, and you can see on top of my turntables and my mixer. So that's really what I wanted to expose, that like there's no tricks, and I just like this way, or this camera angle the best, because like everybody can see what I'm doing. There's no tricks, nothing is hidden. Getting back to the point, so Rob gave me 3.5 on the technicality, 4 on presentation, 4 on originality. Mr. Reed's routine has a great arch. He meticulously planned out every section in his 90 seconds, and that's true. I made lists of different combinations of patterns that I wanted to do, so that whenever I practiced, I could go back to the same pattern or the same rundown of routines that I had planned. So I switched it up over and over again, only so that it made the most sense, and in a way it was easier to do it. For example, I do a couple of just backspins, so simple stuff, right before I get into the Rock the Bells pattern and before I get into the rolling fills pattern. So I get prepared for the spurts that I did. Mr. Reed's approach was methodical, and for that I gave him lots of credits. Thanks, Rob. Organization is an overlooked aspect of routine building many times. There is a video, I'm not sure, I think it's A-Track's Sunglasses Are a Must, and he talks to Qbert about how he prepared for his 1997 DMC World Championship title, well, the routine that he presented. And he had a piece of paper with all the scratches that he did in all the right order. And I thought, okay, that's a pretty good idea, writing it down so that when I go to bed, I can forget it, and it's there on the piece of paper. I can come back to it the next day when I practice again, and then I can just do the same thing, but without having to remember it by heart. I also appreciate how Mystery goes for some risky movements at times. Thank you. That said, it was these spots where his hand movements got a bit clumsy, and as a result he lost clarity in some of his patterns. That is so true. When I recorded this routine, this was the first rundown that I actually had, which was in one go. Previous recordings that I had, previous takes on this routine, I messed it up badly, really badly, and so I just stopped the recording, press record again, and gave it another go. And this was really the first one that I had a rundown which I was basically happy with. But I still had 1 or 2 days left before the videos were due, so I could have taken more time, and that's my advice, record your routine until you have one good set, save that, and then go for one or two more that are maybe even better, so that you have a variety to choose from. Whether it was the shakiness while pushing the left turntable during his push pattern, or inadvertently opening the crossfader to the side he hasn't finished rewinding, Mystery makes enough little mistakes that end up hindering the full potential of this very thoughtful routine. And in what Rob writes here, there's so much, so many hints, so much wisdom in here that, yeah, of course I was nervous. Of course I was shaking. And next time I'll make sure that my routines, the one that I sent, the recording that I sent in, is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yes, I was nervous. Yes, it was a little sloppy, but really I was just happy to have it done. So if you are at that point and you have one rundown, one routine, which is absolutely fine, stop recording, go to bed, come back the next day and do another one. Hopefully then it will be even better. See the full potential of this very thoughtful routine. So there is a lot more that I like. There are many more points that I could have gotten if I had taken the time, recorded it another time, and maybe hand in a better version of my routine. Anyways, 11.5 points from Rob. So Mike C, technicality 4, presentation 3.5, originality 3.5. My favorite part was Mystery's first breakdown pattern at 019, because although simple, it was nice and clean. Okay, let's look at that one more time. Right. As you can see, I used the last of those head notes from the intro as my 1, but in reality, it's like on the 4 end. I used in the breakdown pattern, I didn't break it down, like I didn't stop it. The 4 becomes the 1, and then it just runs down, and then the 1 end and the 2, the snare, the kick and the snare, they are at the right place. So, and I sort of reversed it in the push pattern, where I made the last tone of the head notes in the intro from the 4 end to the 1, changed that, and then I gave it a push so that the yeah, just that the 4 for the 4 pattern would fit again. Let's look at that part one more time. So he also showed he isn't afraid of trying difficult patterns such as 105. That reminded me of Babu's Booger Breaks juggle from the 1994-1995 DMC US Finals. Oh man, Mike C, thank you so much for saying that. Comparing my pattern to DJ Babu is... Thank you. That's awesome. That's great. Tweaking the pitch control is a cool idea, but when doing so, I think it's best used on sounds that really maximize the effect. For example, Rock Reyes juggling. I got to have it in 1994-95 DMC US Finals and 1995 DMC World Finals. Yeah, I think in my case it just worked well because there are like 8 notes in the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So I used the pitch control to pitch the second and the third, dun, 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 the second and the third tone. The distance between the points, between the different notes, of course, that changes because of the pitch. Because one is higher and one is lower, it equalizes that difference in speed. So it still maintains that 4x4 pattern. 11 points from Mike C. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Mr. B gave me straight 3.5 points. I like that you started juggling into patterns right away, then worked backwards to real-time beat juggle patterns. I really like that second to last pattern towards the end where you doubled up the hi-hat with kick snare and it was its own rhythm. Okay, let's look at that one more time because I'm really proud of that. Yeah, that's that part. Actually, by now, for me, it's hard to do that pattern without the fills. And first, I wanted to fill the snare. And secondly, I wanted to fill the second kick, because that really makes it stand out. And what Mike C said in one of these videos, it makes it all the more interesting if you use different things in like different parts of one pattern. So if you repeat one pattern 4 times, it's a good idea to change something in the second part, or in the second run, and in the fourth run. So because that makes it really, really interesting. Towards the front, I thought that could have been a little cleaner when you doubled up on the head nod kicks. You fit in a lot within the time. Total score of 10.5 points from Mr. B. Like, as I said before, I wanted to get in as many different patterns as possible, and that's why I wrote them all down. I even changed the patterns that I actually used. So I switched a little between more intricate patterns and more laid back patterns, which I could easily do, just to make sure that, yeah, I could get my point across and get my video across and get my routine as interesting as possible. I hope you liked it. This is the 5th my reaction videos to the unassisted challenge in honor of Rock Raider, brought to you, of course, by Mr. Brawlic Arm, Rob Swift. If you like it, put some comments in the comment section below. And if you like the videos in general that I do, give me a thumbs up for the video, and of course, subscribe to my channel. That's what I live for. No, I don't. All right, peace, y'all. See you next time.